time. All right. Okay, so we just looked at today's our Wednesdays. I guess not too bad of a Wednesday for Mr. Samuels. There's a lot of stuff going on though. But we looked at the test, and it is a test coming up. Give you a heads up that we also kind of like mapped out the semester. So we have three tests. That means 100 points, and three quizzes. That means like 50-ish. And then we will have a final exam, both the senior one because you guys leave like a week or two before, right? That's a newer thing, by the way, relatively new. Um, that seniors, but the whole state of Illinois almost does that. So we kind of jumped on at the end. So we do have a shorter senior one that you have to take in school, like during a regular period, and then the juniors will take a final during the final exam week. A little bit lengthier. So that would be another 100-pointer. So I guess you can say 4 tests and 3 quizzes for the rest of the year, really. All right, remember tests, no retakes. Down on retakes anyway. And someone that doesn't take a retake, I kind of look at your grade at the end and say, all right, did you have really one bad test? But everything else kind of was pretty normalized. And then I look at your grade accordingly. Every teacher kind of does that. It's not a lot of set in stone stuff, but I really do appreciate those that understand the importance of being ready for the test right there. And then, yes, you can have a hiccup once, maybe, but not saying retakes aren't out there. I just don't think they work very well. And plus, if you don't do your homework, you really shouldn't get a retake. Why should you? You didn't do what you needed to do to get ready to do the take. Why would you get a retake? You didn't earn it. And that's mostly what people fell into anyway. All these homework issues. All right, but anyway, going back to the test, do you see these formulas? These literally will be on the top of the written. So you will just need to know to access the right formula. They'll be there. And then look at the bottom form thing. The formula is in the question. So there's no memorization of formulas, is what I'm saying. Just got to know when to use what. So our first one is that first formula, that basic y equals a times b raised to the x. Now tomorrow we're going to do regressions. We already did regressions with exponentials, but tomorrow we're going to do log regressions, and then it's the same process. Tomorrow's notes are not going to be hard. They're all things that you've already done before, but then we're going to use it again, and it's logarithm regressions and so on and so forth. And then remember, severe drought, lions, they're decreasing at a rate of 3.5%. Remember, that means B is less than 1. Because when I multiply by less than 1, things decay, go down. Remember, when B is greater than 1, that's growth. We've already had these kind of questions, since like 2-3 months ago, I feel like, when we first got into the exponential situation, probably in beginning of November, maybe the end of October. I couldn't think of my months. So we got to know how to fill the numbers in. That's all a formula is. Fill the numbers in the right spot, know what I'm dealing with, know what formula, so on and so forth. And then that means 80 turns into 15, right? If you read this question, drops below 15. So, and how many years will it take for it to drop below 15? Okay. All right. So we'll analyze this as an inequality after. I think I'm going to leave this as an equal sign. And then I believe this is 0.965 is what this becomes, right? Right. And then it's simple. Before logarithms, we had to put this in y1 and y2 and find the intersection. If you don't remember that, your brain. Okay, we got to remember these things. But now what we can do is the glory and power of logarithms. Sorry. First thing I would do is divide by 80. We covered these things, as far as our quizzes yesterday. And then I'm going to move this over. And then here's what we've been doing. We've been doing whatever I do to one side, say it. What am I going to do to both sides? I'm going to log, but what's the base of that logarithm? I'll give you a hint, it's very, very weird. What's the base of this logarithm? 0.965. you're going to log 0.965 both sides. Then I'll analyze at the end, will it take for the to drop below 15? Really what it's going to be is the year that I find or more, right? Because the more years it goes, the more the population is going to drop. So it's really that this is a greater than here. It's really that it's this amount of years or more that it'll drop below 15, right? Does that make sense? So I'm going to change that now. And then whatever I do to one side, fine. And then guess what? That's what t is. Log base 0.965 of 15/80ths. Don't even worry about reducing. And t will be that number or more. And then that's what we're kind of analyzing there. Okay, then I'm walking over here aimlessly to open up my calculator. I did a computer restart because of that mishap and losing my video last hour. I was nervous something's going wrong with my computer. Lost quite a few videos through WeVideo. All right, this year. All right, and then that's all I got to do. And now I'll show you that cheat button. Second quit, clear. I think I lost all that stuff from previous. Anyway, and then it's that cheat button. Second window, 5. You're so far behind that you haven't hit this button yet. You are behind. Okay, and then 15 divided by 80, you don't even have to reduce. Enter. So 46.985 years. So in 46.985, 46.99 years or more. Okay, so this should be t is greater than or equal to. I guess we could even throw an equal to there. Well, it drops below. Technically, it shouldn't be. It should be more than 40. So about 47 years, you'll be below 15. So just kind of messing around with the inequality there. All right, next one. How long will it take for her account to become 4150? Well, the thing that we got to understand here is compounding quarterly. Look at your formulas up there and remember, that's the N formula. What is N, by the way? What is quarterly? How many times is that a year, everyone? We don't have to pay attention much. Pay attention a little. How many times is quarterly, everyone? 4. Okay, so when I don't get an answer, I know you're not focused with me. All right, and then this means 2,300 is our initial investment, and it turns into 4,150 our new. And then that means 1 plus our rate of interest is 9. That means 0.09. Remember what this means. You get 1/4 of 9% 4 times a year. That's why N is in 2 parts of this formula. When you remember why, then you know where the numbers belong and why they belong there. All right, that's a big component. All right, Dom, you okay? All right. Now, what do I do next? What do I got to do next? What do I do with that 2,300? That's what I do next. What do I got to do with that 2,300? Divide. Okay. So some people are adding or subtracting, crazy math. And I don't even have to reduce. What I will do is maybe lop off a 0 for less writing, but I'm just going to leave it. Limit my brain as to the limited amount of things as possible. What I will do is calculate that parenthesis, 0.09 divided by 4. So 1 plus 0.09 divided by 4, just to see what that is. And then get ready to solve, 1.0225. So this is 415 over 230. Don't worry about reducing. I dropped the 0. That's why you got to pay attention. Okay, and then this becomes 1.0225 raised to the 4t. And then what am I going to do to both sides? I'm going to log. What's the base on this logarithm, everyone? 1.0225. Having a discussion with the other teachers that this is the method me and Mr. Wilson are doing, as opposed to change a logarithm to an exponent. All right? because what this does is this 4t comes out in front, and then this is equal to 1. That's why we do this. So it really just becomes 4t equals this log base 1.0225 of 415 over 230. All right, and then all I have to do is divide by 4. So I can go to the calculator. I'm going to move that over here because I know the calculator's to the left for purposes of the video. Hey, and if I didn't have that cheating button, then it's the change of base formula. I don't know if anyone has a TI-83 trying to emulate what everyone has to type. It'd be change of base. So it's log base 10 of the fraction divided by log of 1.0225. Enter, then divide by 4. So that's the change of base formula. We had a couple questions that referenced that yesterday on the quizzes. We need to remember the change of base formula. So the answer is 6.63 years. I will do the cheating button as well just to make sure. Second window, 5 log base 1.0225 of 415 divided by 230. Enter, same number, divided by 4, same answer, 6.63. Okay? Emulating everything you need to do in order to get these questions right. Okay, but here's the difference. Last year, yeah, it was last year. I thought I was saying something wrong. Last year, we had to do a comparison of these reds, y1, y2, find the intersection. Because we didn't know what a logarithm was yet. All right, next one. I just kind of shoved in your face here. It's really the same thing. It's investment. So you go ahead and write it down, but it's compounded monthly. So monthly means 12 is n instead of 10. So it's more of the same. If you don't want to write it down and you get it, that's fine. The purpose of the notes is, what are we doing? Formulas. We got to insert the numbers after reading in the right spot, and then have the ability to deal with the logarithm. Now, I probably should do this one because I just talked to Mrs. Rodriguez, who also teaches this class first hour. She said, going through the notes, you got to be careful when you round. Rounding is a big problem with logarithms. When you round early, it affects the answer greatly. So I might go through a calculator thing with this with you here. But let's talk about the setup. They invest $15,000 and they want twice that amount. So guys, you got to get 30,000 over here. You got to come up with that number. 15,000 doubled is 30. If it just said how long would it take for the account to double, you got to come up with this number. It's not rocket science. We got to think when we're reading. All right, we really do. All right, but all the other parts go in. It's at 6.5%, so it's 0.065. Our fumble, I don't know, someone's throwing a fit over there, this calculator. All right, and then divide by 15,000, that's how we get that too. So I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm going to move this over here so the calculator's not in the way so much. I wish this could stay over there. Okay, but I have to type, this is what I'm worried about, that 1 plus 0.065. Okay, so I need to do this, and I'll show you how you keep this on your calculator. I got to shove this over a little bit. Watch. So I got it. So I need 1 plus 0.065 divided by 12. Enter. That's the decimal, and I got to keep that. I don't even want to round it to 0.005. You need to hold that. Okay, so now look at what I ultimately had to end up doing. I solved, so it's log base, that ugly decimal, of 2, press enter, then divide by 12. Got it? Well, I got that decimal right there. Cheating button. Alpha, window, 5, and then access the answer thing. Second ANS. And that is the previous thing that you just did on your calculator. So that is 1.005416667 in that spot. If you are not listening right now, this is why you fail. Okay? So again, I see a lot of people not watching. It does drive me nuts. I'm the kind of teacher that ripping off a Band-Aid, I tell you it's a problem. You have to make better decisions, some of you. Okay, but anyway, that is a big point in this question. I did not show this last hour. It was based off of right between first and second hour discussion with Mrs. Rodriguez. And I do remember now, logarithms are very picky about rounding. So you never round until the end. All right. So the ANS button. Another thing you could do is you could store this if it wasn't like instantaneously right there. So press enter and then store X, enter. Now that's stored there. And then you could go ahead and do your second window 5 and then type X there. And then 2. Same thing. Then divided by 12. Those are good things that I just showed you there. All right, last but not least, I don't have to do all of these, and I'm actually going to only do one question on the back. Because it's really, dealing with a formula is reading it, reading the labels on the formula, putting the numbers in that they give you, and then solving using a logarithm or exponent. Okay, but the only reason I wanted to cover this one is just knowing what the formula is. And when it says continuously, it's the PERT formula. This is the idea, instead of monthly that you get an interest payment 12 times a year, you get an infinite amount of interest payments over a year. N is infinity. I actually did cover that, but you don't need to know that. I'm in battery problems. Whoa! I gotta plug in. I didn't know that. Woof. Good thing I saw that. Okay. All right. So good thing I got that plugged in. Otherwise, this would have shut down on me. Okay, so got to stay here, but at least I could show that the screen's still here. All right, so this one is real quick. I didn't even do this one last hour. So 55,000, 4,000 turns into 5,500. Sorry. And then I could do this it doesn't take long. In 5 years, what would the rate be? I'll put that as a capital so it really sticks out. What do I do with the 4,000, everybody? Sorry, I lost an E. You're right. E, lost an E there. E raised to the 5 years T R, right? So 5R. What do we do with the 4,000, everyone? Divide. Pay attention. Who asked this last time? What am I going to do with 2 of the zeros, everyone? Just so I have less writing. I don't have to keep canceling, though. I know 55 over 40 does reduce, but I don't care. And then E, why am I leaving all this space? Because what are you going to do to both sides? What are you going to do to both sides? What's the base of the logarithm? Natural log. So it's base E. So I ln both sides. And then this 5R comes out in front, and this is equal to 1. So this is just 5R. And then this is just ln of 55/40ths. So you do this and then divide that whole answer by 5. And you can do that on your calculator. You don't need me. And then this is the point of me not doing this one. Read the question. It's about YouTube views. This is not a formula that you have to have memorized. It's right here. And basically it says, how long would it take for them to be 2,500? And that's the same old. Divide by 50, ln both sides. It really is the same solve as the last one. Got it? Is everyone okay? Because I see a lot of button pushing on the calculator. Because then you really need you to focus on the last one. Okay, focus on the last one. I'm not finishing that one. What time do we get out of here? 08? Right? I don't want to go the whole period. You don't want me to either. Because this whole back page, it's really same old, but different formulas. You got to read the question, insert the numbers in the right spot, solve. So I'm only going to do the first one because of one particular reason. And it is this: the ability to read. And you want to get your highlighter out and tell yourself, I have to really analyze that correctly. The number N of college graduates in thousands after T years can be modeled by this. I got a little freaked out about this 4 gap 6, then a little gap by the log. Let's just leave it 46 times log base 5 of whatever. Okay, so it is that. We're going to get an obnoxious answer, though. One other thing is let t, I kind of questioned my answer a little bit last hour, but we were mathematically sound. So anyway, let t equal 0 represent 1985. And now here's the kicker. How long will it take? Okay, so I'm solving for t, right? How long will it take for there to be at least 150,000? What does at least mean? Is that greater than or less than? Greater than or equal to. So we're going to assess that as well. 150,000 graduates. So my question is, what do I have to plug in for n then? Is it 150,000? Yes or no? No. Because I told you to read this. So how is this formula generated? It's generated by, what do I actually plug in? What do I plug in? Not 150,000. I plug in what? 150. Because the formula is already in thousands how it was generated. So anytime I get an answer for n, to really analyze what that answer is, I'd have to throw on 3 zeros. All right. So if I put like 7 years in, if I evaluated for 7 years, the answer would give me an answer, but I'd have to throw 3 zeros on it because it's in thousands. So this is 150. The only reason I am here for this one. Losing my voice. Drink time. Anyone? No. You're already done. You've been drinking. That's your 7th drink already. Log there used to be a no drinking, no water bottle policy. Now there's no policies. Students could murder another student, they'd be fine. I'm just kidding. Yes, what? You're right. So when will there, how long would it take for it? At least this would be greater than or equal to, and then make sense out of it. We're going to get a time. So that it's the time or larger. Like the more time, the more students. So when t is greater than, all right? Making sense out of this. What would I do with the 46, everyone? It's all the same math, right? But it's not. Watch what happens next. And I'm not reducing. So it's 150. What am I doing? 150 over 46, less than or equal to, really. But you're right. It's supposed to be. And then log base 5 of t plus 3. What do I do next, everyone? What do we do to both sides to keep my inequality in the right spot? 5 raised, right? You know, it's hard to say, right? But it's 5 raised to both sides. Because this is a property that these cancel each other. Boy, we're really exercising that property. We shared this with the other pre-calc teachers. Me and Mr. Wilson have really, really done the whatever you do to one side, do to the other rule. Because we really like it. I think it really has, it really makes sense to me more now. Then when I come up to the board and type this on the calculator, it's actually not that bad. You just do 5 caret, and I didn't even do the get it as a decimal because this is the exact answer. So why get a decimal and possibly round? Okay, but the time will be this time or greater. So it makes sense out of it when you read this right to left. So when I get an answer, it's this time or greater that you'll get this many students doing this. So it should make sense. But what doesn't really make sense is this answer. It's quite large, right? Whoa, did I do something wrong there? What did I do? 5, that's not right. What did I do? Is it 46 instead of 40? Yeah. Geez, that's a big difference for that exponent. Sorry, I knew that was wrong. 150 divided by 46. My bad, dogs. Roof. I still find this answer quite obnoxious. That's 187 years away. It is actually correct mathematically. But I questioned that last hour. I'm like, wait, did I do something wrong? Is this 46 wrong? Should this be something else? I don't really know. But as the question stands, that is the answer. But what is it as far as what year that is? Basically, you'd just have to take 1985 and add, what was it? 100 what? 87 point whatever. And it's greater than that. So it's 187 point this or higher. See how, because at least this occurring. And then I don't know what year that is. You can go ahead and add those. All right. Huh? How did I get what? Oh, they're talking to him doing something else. Okay. All right. Got it. So that's how you get that final answer. We're going to shut this down. Hopefully I keep this video.